Yes, good afternoon, students. So last class, we have completed our first unit. So just for 5 minutes, we will see all the topics which we have covered in the first unit, and next we'll start our second unit. Okay, just hold on a second. I'll share the screen. Okay, so this was the topic which have solved some problems in the last class. That is YouTube manometer. So in this, we have seen different types of manometers. So we have solved problems also in this. Okay, so this is YouTube differential manometer where we have solved many problems in this, and in this we have seen two types. One is the pipes are at different level and the pipes are at the same level, and we have these expressions also from that. We have seen from the figure how you are going to get this. General basic formula we'll use rho GH, P is equals to rho GH. By using that, we'll get all these terms. And this is inverted YouTube differential manometer where the YouTube will be in the inverted form. And again, it is used for finding the pressure difference in the two different pipes or the same pipe connected at two different points. Same concept is used, but the only difference here is we'll use a lighter fluid. Nothing but density will be less compared to the fluid which is flowing in the fluid. So here, the specific gravity of this fluid will be less than the specific gravity of this solids, the fluid which is flowing. And we have solved the problems. Okay, I think we have solved all this. Which is pipes at the same level. These all things we have solved. Many of them were absent for the last class. This topic is very important. I already said problems will be asked from this for the final exams. So please check once after finishing of this. Okay, and at last we have seen the single column manometer where we'll have a reservoir in the left limb, and we have calculated the pressure which is there in this pipe. We are going to calculate the pressure in this. So we have completed this topic also. This was the last topic which we have completed, that is the inclined single column manometer. And at least I think we have solved this problem. Yes, we have solved this problem also. So this was our first unit. Hello? Who's that? So these were the topics which we have covered in our first unit. All the things we have completed. And this last topic is very important, as well as these properties of fluids are also very important, because mostly in Viva, they'll ask these properties only, definition and units of the properties will be asked more. And in problems, if they want to ask for problems here from the first unit, they'll ask these manometers, or we have viscosity problems, dynamic viscosity, kinematic viscosity. That problem they will ask mostly from the first unit. Okay. So now I'm going for your second unit. So in the first unit, what we have seen your fluid statics. So where the fluids are rest, we don't have any motions to the fluid. We have considered that fluids and we have solved all the problems on that. Next, we are going to fluid. Second unit as fluid kinematics and fluid dynamics. Right. So already, so first topic of the unit 2 will be first we'll complete fluid kinematics fully. Then we'll go for the fluid dynamics. So today we'll start with the fluid kinematics only. Right. So first thing we need to know the definition for this fluid kinematics. So already we all know kinematics. It is defined as the branch of science which deals with motions of while coming to fluid, motion of fluid particles without considering the forces which cause the motion. Right. So it is also a fluid which is in motion. Both are fluid in motions only. But in kinematics, we will not consider the forces which are applied on them. And in dynamics, we will consider the forces which are on them. That is the main difference in kinematics and dynamics. Both the fluids are in motion. So kinematics comes under the study of fluids which are in motion without considering the forces applied on them. Dynamics. And while coming to dynamics, it is a study of fluid which is in motion and we'll consider the forces on them. Okay, so that is the main difference. So while coming to fluid kinematics, so in general, if you see any wave like this, what is there? There is a motion to the wave, but we will not consider anything on that, any forces, because why it is moving, how it is moving, we will not consider. So for example, I have shown here. So here, if you see, fluid kinematics is a branch of fluid mechanics, which deals with the response of fluids in motion without considering the forces and energies in them. So we will not consider any forces by which the fluid is moving. The study of kinematics is often referred to as the geometry of motion. Okay, so this is the definition for your fluid kinematics. So you can write down the definition. Fluid kinematics is defined as the branch of science which deals with the motion of fluid particles without considering the forces causing the motion. Okay, please write down the running notes. Later I will send the slides or material to you. And here the fluid motion is generally described by two methods actually. So one is your Lagrangian method and the second one is Eulerian method. So these two are the names of two scientists who gave the fluid motion description by these two methods. Two methods are there, which comes as this Lagrangian method and Eulerian method. So first, if you see the Lagrangian method, what he's telling is considering a single fluid particle in the motion. Suppose a fluid is flowing, he's considering a single fluid particle and he is finding the velocity, acceleration and density of that single fluid particle. So that is a method which Lagrangian is used. Okay, he is the scientist who has described this method. By considering a single fluid particle which is flowing in the flow field, we are going to find the velocity, acceleration and densities with respect to time, space. Okay, time and space is nothing but just a place. At different places, at what time, what is the velocity, acceleration and density. So here, this is the Lagrangian method. In this method, a single fluid particle is chosen and followed during its motion. Okay, so see, a single particle is chosen and it is followed during its motion to find the velocity, acceleration and density with respect to space and time from a fixed position at the start of the motion. The position of the fluid particle x in x, y, z direction at any time t with respect to its position a, b, c. So these are the different positions at position a, position b and position c. In that way, we need to consider for a single fluid particle. So in x direction, if you see, it is the function of, in x direction is the function of position a, b and c and time. Similarly, in y direction, if you see, it is function of a, b, c and time. And again, for the z direction, it is a, b, c time. So the velocity is given by, in x direction, u equal to dx by dt. With respect to x direction, with respect to time, we will find the velocity. Similarly, in y direction, v, in z direction, it is w. This is the velocity. How to find the velocity? You can use this. Next, ax is nothing but acceleration in the x direction. So we know acceleration. If you know velocity, we can find acceleration. That is change of velocity is called change of velocity with respect to time is called acceleration. So ax becomes this velocity in direction of x. It is u. So du by dt becomes acceleration in x direction. So du by dt, if you do, we'll get d square x by dt square. So that is a term here, d square x by dt square. Similarly, in y direction, acceleration ay equal to d square y by dt square. And in z direction, acceleration in z direction, acceleration az equal to d square z by dt square. So these are the accelerations and these are the velocities in different directions of x, y, and z direction when we are considering this method, Lagrangian method. So here we are going to consider only a single fluid particle in the full flowing fluid. Okay. So next, if you go for the Eulerian method, is just observing a fluid properties as a function of time and space. Right. So what we will do in this method, the velocity, acceleration, and pressure density are described at a point in flow field. At a single point, we will find. We will not go with respect to different spaces, but different positions we are not considering. Only at a single point, we are going to find the velocity, acceleration, and densities at a single point. Right. So in this method, a point or section is chosen in the flowing fluid field, and its velocities, acceleration, density, etc. are observed at that point only. At a single point, we consider. It is a commonly used method because mathematically, this simplicity will be mathematically. If you want to calculate, it is very easy to calculate by using Eulerian method. So that's why mostly we'll use this method only for finding velocity, accelerations, etc. Right. So now, if you consider u, v, w are the components of velocities in x, y, z direction, then you'll get u equal to f1 is a function of different x, y, z and t in directions, x, y, z directions and time t for a single fluid particle. Similarly, this will be v will be equal to velocity in the y direction is equal to f2 function of x, y, z again t, because since it is the same fluid, you'll get the same terms for all the three in all the directions. So this is your Eulerian method. Next, we have different types of flows. Till now we have seen types of fluids only. Now different flows we will see. Different types of fluid flows. So types of fluid flows, if you see, we have these 6 types, right? Under which steady and unsteady. Yes, my voice is audible clearly.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these are the 6 types of fluid flows which actually exist. So steady and unsteady flow, uniform and non-uniform flows, laminar and turbulent flows, compressible and incompressible flow, rotational and irrotational flow, and the last one is one-dimensional flow, two-dimensional flow, and three-dimensional flow. So these are the types of fluid flows. So we'll go one by one. First one, what is there? We have steady and unsteady flow. So in steady and unsteady flow, what will there? The steady flow in which the fluid characteristics like nothing but velocity, pressure, velocity, and density, these are called as characteristics of the fluid, doesn't change with respect to time. As the fluid flows, the characteristics of the fluids like velocity, pressure, density, etc. at a point doesn't change with respect to time. Nothing but in the fluid flow with respect to time, always the velocity will be same, always the pressure will be same, always the density of the fluid will be same. So that type of fluid flow is called as your steady flow, right? So you can write roughly, the steady flow is the flow in which the fluid characteristics like velocity, pressure, density, etc. at a point do not change with respect to time. Do not change with respect to time. For example, if you here EG means example, the flow of water with constant discharge through a pipeline is a steady flow, right? So here, change in volume, nothing but change in velocity, sorry, dou v by dou t, change in velocity with respect to time is always 0 because there is no change in the velocity with respect to time. So change in velocity, dou v by dou t will be 0. So similarly, pressure dou p by dou t will be 0 because the pressure won't change with respect to time. So it will be constant. So it is 0, dou p by dou t. Similarly, density doesn't change with respect to time. So dou p by dou t is also equal to 0. So we need to remember these 3 terms if it is a steady flow. Dou v by dou t is 0, dou p, this is p, dou p by dou t is equals to 0, dou rho, density, dou rho by dou t is equals to 0. Since anything doesn't change with respect to time, so dou v by dou t or anything will be equal to 0. Okay. So in steady flow, the fluid characteristics doesn't change with respect to time. That is the main thing you need to remember. Similarly, if you go for unsteady flow, what happens? All the 3 these characteristics will change with respect to time. The unsteady flow in which the fluid characteristics like velocity, pressure, density at a point changes with respect to time. So velocity will change with respect to time, pressure will change with respect to time, as well as density may change with respect to time. So at that time, what happens here, if you see the example, the flow of water with varying discharge through a pipe is an unsteady flow. Since the discharge is varying, the velocity will change, pressure will change. Sometimes density may change. Depends upon the type of fluid we used, right? So here, as the characteristics are changing with respect to time, so what you will get, dou v by dou t, you get some term always. So it is not equal to 0. Similarly, dou p by dou t is not equal to 0. Dou rho by dou t is also not equal to 0. So it is just opposite to the steady flow. Steady flow, opposite is unsteady flow. So we need to remember the definition because they may ask for the 2 marks, small answers. Unsteady flow is a fluid flow in which fluid characteristics like velocity, pressure, or density at any point changes with respect to time. And we need to write this. Dou v by dou t is not equal to 0. Dou p by dou t is not equal to 0. And dou rho by dou t is also not equal to 0. So this is our first type of fluid flow, which is steady and unsteady flow. Okay, next what we have is second one, uniform and non-uniform flow. So in uniform flow, if you see the images which is at the down, so here these are the fluid molecules which are moving here. The flow in which uniform flow is defined as that type of flow in which velocity at any given time doesn't change with respect to space, nothing but with respect to distance. Suppose if you see this is the first position which you are checking and this is the second position which you are checking at the end. So the velocity doesn't change with respect to this space, nothing but the length of direction of flow, that is called space here. In the length of direction of flow, since the fluid is moving from here to here, in this direction at the first space and at the second space, nothing but at the position here and here, the velocity should not change. So that becomes your uniform flow. The flow in which velocity at any given time doesn't change with respect to space. Space is nothing but length of direction of flow. In this length direction, along the one direction, along the flow is called uniform flow. The flow in which velocity at any given time doesn't change with respect to space is called uniform flow. Example, you can see flow through a long straight pipe of uniform diameter is considered as uniform flow. Flow through a long straight pipe of uniform diameter is considered as uniform flow. Right? So what happens there? If you consider the uniform flow, the velocity will not change here. This V1 here equal to V2. So velocity doesn't change with respect to position of the fluid flow. So that is your uniform flow. While coming to non-uniform flow, the flow in which velocity at a given time changes with respect to space. Nothing but if you see a venturimeter, you'll have here like this only, venturimeter. Converging part or diverging part, if you see, at the inlet and outlet, velocities will change since the cross-sectional area is changed. So that's why we can take the example as this one. The flow through a long pipe with varying cross-section is considered as non-uniform flow. The flow in which velocity at any given time changes with respect to space is called as non-uniform flow. Okay, any doubt in this? Uniform and non-uniform flow. So velocities, if the velocity is changing with respect to position, space, with respect to space, that is called uniform flow. If the velocity is not changing, the velocity is not changing with respect to space is called uniform flow. If the velocity is changing with respect to space, it is called as non-uniform flow. So here the equation is given as dou v, nothing but velocity, change in velocity to change in space, nothing but position. Dou v by dou s is equals to 0 for uniform flow, and dou v by dou s is not equal to 0 for non-uniform flow. So here we have seen two things, that is steady, unsteady, and uniform and non-uniform. So the combination of these four can be possible. So that is the next thing which you are seeing first before going for the next type of flow, the combination of the flow. So it may be steady uniform flow, steady non-uniform flow, unsteady uniform flow, and unsteady non-uniform flow. Nothing but combinations of these four, steady and uniform, steady and non-uniform. In that way, the combinations are also possible. Steady uniform flow. Example you can see here. Duct is nothing but a small pipe. Right? Flow at constant rate through a duct of uniform cross section. So if you have uniform cross section, you can see this type of flow in that, steady and uniform. So what is steady? Pressure, different characteristics. This is steady. Different characteristics does not change with respect to time. This is steady. Next, what he said, uniform flow. So in uniform, what happens? Velocity changes with respect. Velocity doesn't change with respect to space. So the combination gives you this one: steady and uniform flow. Steady uniform flow. Flow at constant rate through a duct of uniform cross section. Right. Next is steady non-uniform flow. So steady means pressure, velocity, acceleration doesn't change with respect to time, and non-uniform, dou v by dou s not equal to 0. So that two combinations give this type of flow. Similarly, unsteady and uniform flow, unsteady non-uniform flow. So these are the examples where you can see flow at varying rates, but velocity rate of change, discharge is changed varying rates through a long straight pipe of uniform cross section. Similarly, flow at varying rates through a duct of non-uniform cross section. So there what happens, velocity changes with respect to space. So non-uniform will be coming, unsteady and non-uniform flow. So these are the combinations which is possible for the first two or four types of flow. This is steady, unsteady, uniform and non-uniform flows. Next, if you go for the laminar and turbulent flow, so see here, example daily we'll see laminar flow. This is called laminar flow, where you can see all the fluid particles will go in a straight path slowly like this. The flow in which the adjacent layers do not cross each other and move along the well-defined path is called laminar flow. Right? You can see here all the fluid particles, if you consider as layers, they go in a parallel way. It will not cross one over the other layers. So that is called as your laminar flow. While see, when you keep a one cup here, what happened? The water after coming from away from the cup, you can see the water is sprinkled like this. And what in the turbulent flow. In a zigzag manner, the molecules will move. So there, that type of flow is called as your turbulent flow. Laminar flow, example, you can see this. This is your turbulent flow away from this cup, which is placed in this sink. Okay, so the flow in which the adjacent layer do not cross each other and move along well-defined path is called as your laminar flow. And another way you can describe it as, you can define it as, laminar flow is defined as that type of flow in which fluid particles move along well-defined path and parallel. Well-defined path and parallel. Nothing but layers will be parallel to each other. So this type of flow is called as, one more name is also there for laminar flow, that is streamline flow. Streamline flow or viscous flow. Please write down laminar, so many names are there, laminar flow. Laminar flow is also called as stream, S-T-R-E-A-M, streamline flow or viscous flow. Okay, so here the layers will not cross one over the other, so they will move in a well-defined path and parallel to each other they will move. While coming to turbulent flow, an example for laminar flow, you can see flow of blood in small veins, flow in porous media also is the example for laminar. Next, welcome to turbulent. The flow in which the adjacent layers cross each other and do not move along the well-defined path is called turbulent flow. Examples you can see here. Flow through a river or canal, since the fluid particles move randomly like way, so they won't be parallel to each other. They'll move in a zigzag manner. Next, smoke from chimney will not go in a straight path, and smoke from a cigarette is also an example for turbulent flow. Okay, so this is the thing which I said. Suppose these are the different layers of the fluid. If you see moving in a pipe, there is some obstacle also, even though they are moving in a parallel way. So this is an example for laminar flow here. Right, so these lines which you can see are just an imaginary lines called as streamlines. So that's why one more name given for laminar flow is streamlines. It is also known as streamline flow. Occurs when fluid flows in parallel layers with no disruption between the layers. So when the fluid layers will move parallel to each other like this, then also it is called as laminar flow. Right. So turbulent flow, if you see, these are the lines you can see. One is overlapped with the other, nothing but they are going in a zigzag manner. So we cannot see like parallel lines like this. So that is your turbulent flow. Right, one more concept while coming to this laminar turbulent flow is your Reynolds number will come in. So we have seen this Reynolds number. I think in experiment also somewhere you have seen the Reynolds number word. So first thing we need to know what is this Reynolds number. So Reynolds number is a ratio of inertia force to viscous force. Reynolds number is a ratio of inertia force to viscous force. So where it is denoted by RE, small, capital R, small e. Reynolds number is denoted by RE like this. So RE equal to rho Vd by mu. This is the formula for finding the Reynolds number. If you know the density, velocity, and diameter, and mu. What is mu? What is mu? First unit, what is mu? Viscosity. Mu is the dynamic viscosity of the fluid. So Reynolds number is the ratio of inertia force to viscous. Nothing but viscosity, viscous force. Okay, it is also written as Vd by small mu. Dynamic viscosity by density is kinematic viscosity. That also you can change. Vd by V. Or you can write in the form of discharge. Qd by Q. So this is the Reynolds number. Rho Vd by mu. It's just a number. We don't have any units for this. So on depending upon the Reynolds number also we can define whether it is a laminar flow or turbulent flow. If the Reynolds number is less than 200, then the flow is laminar. Right. So if you have this all things characteristics, we can find Reynolds number, and that defines your whether the fluid flow is laminar or turbulent. If the Reynolds number is more than 4000, then the flow is turbulent. If it is less than 2000, it is laminar flow. If the Reynolds number is more than 4000, it is turbulent flow. If it is in between, it is called as transit flow. Nothing but combination of both, transit flow. If the Reynolds number is between 2000 to 4000, then the flow is transit. See here, images you can see laminar flow. The fluid layers will flow parallel to each other. While coming to turbulent, we cannot see any layers parallel. They will flow in a zigzag and they will cross each other. Okay. So next we have the next type of flow, that is compressible and incompressible fluid flow. So first we will know fluid flow can be, some fluids can be compressed and some fluids cannot be compressed. So while, like, for example, if you see liquids which cannot be compressed and gases can be compressed. So there is a main difference. So compressible will come under only gases states. In liquids we cannot see that. So compressible and incompressible flow. Okay, so first compressible flow is that type of flow in which the density of the fluid changes from point to point. So I'm telling the word compressible. So as you compress the gas, what happens? The density only will changes. So it is main thing which you need to remember in case of compressible and incompressible. So the compressible flow in which density of the fluid changes from point to point, or we can tell that density is not constant for the fluid. So as you compress it, the density will change. So thus density is not equal to constant in case of compressible flows. While coming to incompressible flows, the density is constant for the fluid flow. Throughout the flow, the density will be constant. Liquids are generally incompressible, I already said, while gases are compressible. So for incompressible flows, density rho is equals to constant. Always the density is same for incompressible fluids. Okay. So this is the image you can see here. Suppose if it is a liquid incompressible fluid, if we apply pressure, well, volume doesn't change, so density doesn't change. Suppose if it is any compressible fluid like gases, if you see, if you apply pressure, what happens? The volume will be reduced, nothing but density will be increased here. So this is your incompressible fluid. So that is the main difference in the compressible and incompressible fluid. Density changes from point to point. If the density of the flowing fluid changes from point to point, that fluid flow is called compressible flow. If the density is not changing with respect to the fluid flow, it is your incompressible flow. Okay, this question is very important. In your short answers, they'll ask what is the main differences between compressible and incompressible fluids. So what we have, the first difference is compressible fluid is matter that can be compressed with the application of an external pressure. I think but the word only will tell. We can able to compress the fluid. So that fluids which are able to compress are called compressible fluids. The fluids which cannot be compressed are called as incompressible fluids. First main difference is that compressible and non-compressible. Next, as you compress, what happens? The volume can be reduced with the application of a pressure on the fluid. So volume will be reduced as we apply pressure on the compressible fluids. If it is compressible, volume will be reduced as the application of pressure. If it is incompressible, even if you apply pressure, it cannot be compressed. So volume cannot be reduced with the application of a pressure on the fluid. Okay. Next, third point, density. So for compressible fluids, density can be changed with the application of the pressure on the fluid. And for the incompressible, density cannot be changed with the application of pressure on the fluid. This is your third type. Next, value of Mach number should be greater than 0.3. Value of Mach number should be less than 0.3. So what is this Mach number? It is the ratio of velocity of the fluid to the sound. Velocity of the, it is a ratio of velocity of fluid to the velocity of sound in that fluid. It is the ratio of fluid, ratio of the fluid velocity to the velocity of the sound in that fluid. Mach number. I think this somewhere you will learn later again. Mach number is a ratio of velocity of the fluid to the velocity of the sound in that fluid. It is nothing but just velocity ratios of the fluid flow as well as sound in that fluid. So it is just a number, Mach number. Okay. So these are the main points to be remembered when we are having the differences between, what are the differences between compressible and incompressible fluids. We need to write these 4 points. The fluid which is compressible is called compressible fluid, is the first point. In incompressible, the fluid which cannot be compressed is called incompressible fluid. Next, volumes we need to tell. Volume will be reduced in compressible. Volume doesn't reduce in the incompressible. Next, density we need to mention. So density will be changed as we compress the fluid. Density doesn't change even if you apply the pressure to compress it in the incompressible fluids. Last point is about your Mach number. Value of Mach number should be greater than 0.3. Value of Mach number should be less than 0.3 if it is in case of incompressible fluids. Please write down this. Roughly you can write 4 points. Right after 10 minutes, your session will be 8 minutes. Your session will be expired. Please join immediately. Okay. So next, if we go, we have rotational and irrotational flows. So in rotational flow, so the word only will tell rotational, nothing but rotating. Something is rotating there. So the rotational flow is that type of flow in which the fluid particles, while flowing, rotate about their own axis. Fluid particles we need to see. Fluid particles will rotate about their own axis in the rotational flow, in which the fluid particles, while flowing along the streamline, rotate about their own axis. That type of fluid flow is called as your rotational flow. Next, we'll come into irrotational flow. The fluid particles, while flowing along streamline, doesn't rotate about their own axis. That is your irrotational flow. So these are the types of flows which we have seen up to now. And the last one which is left is one-dimensional flow, two-dimensional flow, and three-dimensional flow. Right, this you can write down rotational flow and irrotational flow. Just hold on a second. The last which we have is last type of fluid flow is one-dimensional, two and three-dimensional flow. So in one-dimensional flow, if you see, it is that type of flow in which the fluid, the flow parameters such as velocity is a function of time and one space coordinate only. Space coordinate is nothing but x-axis, space coordinate. So it is the function of time and only one axis, that is x-axis. Example I'm telling. Okay, the parameters is a function, nothing but velocity is a function of time and space coordinate only. So u, small letter u, if you take with respect to x-axis, u is the function of only x, nothing but in x-axis. Right? So v, small v is equals to 0, small w is equals to 0 in case of one-dimensional flow. We get only the x direction velocity. Okay, so u equal to f of x will be the equation for one-dimensional flow. Okay, so when we go for the two-dimensional flow, so here the velocity is a function of time and two coordinates, nothing but rectangular coordinates, x and y. So here the velocity in this flow, the velocity of the fluid is a function of time and two coordinates. So here you will have u value and v value, but you will have u in x direction, v in y direction, but in w, that is nothing but in z direction, w is equals to 0. So what you'll get, u equal to f of x comma y, nothing but two coordinates are there, x and y. So u is equals to f of x comma y, and v, small v equal to f of x comma y. If you can write u equal to f1 of x comma y, u2 is equals to f2 of x comma y. B equal to F2 of x comma y, and in z direction we don't have any velocity, so W is equals to 0 in case of two-dimensional flow. Next, if you go for three-dimensional flow, is that type of flow in which the velocity is a function of time in three mutually perpendicular directions. So what we'll have the velocities in three directions. So next, first one, if you see in x direction, u is the function of u is equals to f1 of x comma y comma z. Since we have three mutually perpendicular x, y, z, we'll get u equal to f1 of x comma y comma z, and small v in the y direction is the function of f2 x comma y comma z again, and w is equals to f3 is a function of f3 x comma y comma z. Okay, so these are the three types of flows. Nothing but we have velocities in, if the velocity we have only in one direction, that is one dimensional flow. The velocity components are in two directions, that is two-dimensional flow. If the velocity components are in three directions, that is three-dimensional flow. Okay, any doubt up to now in these types of fluid flows? Okay, so all the six types we have seen: steady and unsteady flows, uniform and non-uniform flow, laminar and turbulent flows, compressible and incompressible flows, rotational and irrotational flow, one-dimensional flow, two-dimensional flow, and three-dimensional flows we have seen. So after these types of fluid flows, we are having one topic, it is description of flow patterns. Okay, I think only 1 minute is there for this session. This again you need to rejoin. So after joining, I will tell you this.